Beautiful harmonizing. That's really so lovely. And also, look at these gorgeous costumes. Wow. Hello, my friends. We've got an extra upload for you this week. It's the release day for the new album by Charlotte Wessels, The Obsession. I'm so excited for her. She's gone through such a journey with, the breakup with Delane and starting her Patreon over COVID, and it's been really interesting. I only got introduced to her a little while ago, but I've just been so amazed and have started to get really invested kind of into learning more about her journey and her music and all of her creativity. I'm also really excited that I'm going to be interviewing her next week. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, though, ahead of the album release, they dropped a new video 2 days ago, and I have been absolutely loving her videos. They've been so great, just really artful and tasteful and fun, and kind of a little bit different from what we expect in the metal genre, especially. Like, for instance, Dopamine's like really pink and sparkly and just really fun, and also the lyrics and everything are really heartfelt and just have been having a great time exploring her music and all of her creativity, and I cannot wait to find out more about that process specifically relating to the music videos. So today I wanted to take a look at the new video for Ode to the West Wind, which she did with Alissa White-Gluz of Arch Enemy. And I'm sure that she's got something really creative in store for us again. If you're new here on the channel, my name is Manon the Reaper. I'm a filmmaker, a writer-director, and here on this channel, I do music video analysis and kind of look at them from the perspective of a filmmaker. And also, as a special for all of my Patreon backers, I also put up an additional video today on Patreon where I do an analysis of Dopamine as well. Let's watch Ode to the West Wind together and see if we can learn a little bit about how it was made.
Stream at the steep sky's commotion. Loose clouds like earthly king leaves a shade. Shook from the tangled boughs of heaven and ocean. Angels rain and of lightning they are sprayed. And the bluest of surface of burning shade. Oh yeah, the black rain and fire and it burst. Panting like the waves of fire. I'll be trembling at your powers. Lift me like a wave, leave the cloud. I fall on the thorns of life. I don't need a heavy weight of ours has drained and bowed. Someone much like you. White-Gluz wind breath upon its feet.
Ooh, beautiful harmonizing. That's really so lovely. And also, look at these gorgeous costumes. Wow, so we have a very evocative opening where they immediately set the stage with Charlotte here at what looks like a trash heap. And in the distance, behind her, we see all of this beautiful, like misty mountains with trees and such, and like a nature thing. So instantly, I'm feeling kind of, is this a song about climate change or like human impact on the world? So that was like just the first couple of seconds. That's already what it made me think of. So just very pretty. I love that we have this smoke machine going as well, which is really adding to the atmosphere. Love the dress that she's wearing here. I love her hair. This is really cute with it reminds me a little bit of Rogue from X-Men. And the dress that she's wearing is very pretty. And I noticed that the dress that Alissa is wearing looks a little bit like trash in a way, if that makes sense. Like, it's not, and it wasn't made of trash, but it with all of the strings and like ribbons and such coming from it, I'm sure that was sort of the intention to make it sort of evoke trash. You know what I mean? It's like it looks like ripped paper, that kind of thing. I'm sure that was a very nice, expensive dress that they must have rented for a music video, for the music video production. They do that a lot, actually, especially also in pop and such. And when they're wearing like these really elaborate costumes, especially if they're a designer, they will rent these rather than actually buy them, because that's a lot cheaper, obviously, because sometimes these dresses can be like $10,000, and that might be your entire budget for the whole video. It looks like Alissa is wearing a wig here, which we know she has blue hair, and later we see her in her own blue hair, I think. This looks more like her own hair, so I wonder why they made that choice to give her this wig. And the wig actually reminds me a little bit of the pink wigs that they were wearing in Dopamine. I also love this. This is obviously taken from the image of the two cherubs, I think they are. It's a painting. Very cute. I love how they pose this. And they're just sort of innocently singing here. And then the music intensifies and we get all of this lighting in the background, and we have these prism effects, like sort of glitchy. Really cool. We also cut to this shot here, which again, like it's an oil barrel on a beach, which definitely, again, like it really reinforces the climate theme. So I wasn't off in my first impression, like right away. I'm not quite following the lyrics. I'm really focusing on just the visuals, but usually it's so interesting how they can already like evoke certain themes and like feelings in just the images. I might be way off. I don't know. Like maybe I'm projecting my own like climate fears on this, but that's what I'm guessing so far. I might be off, so you tell me in the comments. So let's continue at this gorgeous shot. Again, I'm loving their costumes here. It's so pretty. They look like flowers. Very very nice to have the two of them together like this too.
White-Gluz wind, breath of autumn's feeling. Or from whose unseen presence the leaves are dead, fleeing like ghosts from an enchanted black and red. Yellow and pale into the dark and wintry bed. Lift me like a wave, a leaf, a cloud. I fall upon the thorns of life I leave. The heavy weight of ours has chained and bound, uncontrollable. Regret my words, the words that you denied. Scattered from the light, extinguished her. Your precious endless sparks, spirit and thoughts, uncontrollable.
Uh-huh. Wow. Okay, so it's really intensifying. And again, I really, well, the theme is pretty clear at this point, right? So we even have the black goo, which we've talked about quite a bit at this point on this channel, which is it's like sort of a recurring trope or like it's a recurring visual that we see in metal videos quite a bit, except here it has a different purpose where I think it's supposed to, symbolize oil. So that's really cool. I'm talking about this, of course, like very specifically about the black liquid on their heads. It's again really evocative, right? And also talking about this, what's so interesting here is that these flowers, I think they're supposed to be flowers anyway. So the two women dressed in these dresses, sort of resembling flowers, they're surrounded by this plastic which is moving around them, which is again like it's such a really fun symbolic way to symbolize some of this stuff without having to go really crazy and like building a set and all that stuff. Like it's very effective, really fun, and it also creates some really interesting reflections in the plastic in the background that is really adding to their faces quite nicely. Like here. Yeah, it's really, really, really pretty. And this is something that I've noticed about Charlotte's videos anyways, that they tend to be really pretty, which seems like such a contrast to metal in general. but it goes together so well. It's just like how she combines these really sort of almost hypnotic vocals, which are very just layered, right? And not very straightforward at all, with these more harsh sounding instruments. And so I find that really interesting. Also, I'm just thinking about how they're posed here is they're not singing towards the camera, like very intentionally so. So it's a very fascinating choice. They're never really looking at us, I feel like. Well, in some of them they are. But in these shots where they're positioned as, I'll just call it the flower shot, but that's definitely, and here too, they're not looking at us. So the angels, the flowers, they're looking a different direction. And I wonder if that was intentional. And that's something that I've seen in her videos is that there seem to be like really interesting intentionalities here and there that I'm curious about and that I definitely want to ask her some questions about. But yeah, there seems to be such a there just seems to be such a good sense of style and symbolism. So now we get to this part where all of the oil is dripping, things are now on fire, the world is burning, there's trash everywhere. Here, it kind of looks like they're having a hard time with this stuff being poured all over their face, which you see Charlotte's cringe a little bit. But it can't have been easy to just sit still in that. So let's take a look and let's keep playing.
In its grave until spring will blow. A clarion over the dreaming earth below. Lift me like a wave, a leaf, a cloud. I fall upon the thorns of life. I bleed. A heavy weight of ours has chained and bound someone much like you.
Oh, there was a moment there that was really interesting. And I want to just quickly go back and look at it again because where they were standing before, not looking at us, all of a sudden Alissa sort of turns to the camera and she looks at us. And I didn't really listen to the lyrics. So I want to listen to the lyrics again and kind of see what they're saying and maybe they're sort of like turning in judgment or something. It was a very striking moment, I think. So let's take another look.
Dreaming earth below. Lift me like a wave, a leaf, a cloud. I fall upon the thorns of life. I bleed. A heavy weight of ours has chained and bound someone much like you.
Hmm. Oh, gorgeous. Very, I mean, I didn't get anything specifically in the lyrics in that moment, but still, I felt like it definitely gave me a little tingle, like, hey, that feels so intentional. And just very pretty how she turned and just looked at us and then looked away again. And yeah, and during the more harsh moments, definitely loving the editing there with all the glitches and like the cuts, like it's all moving a lot more, much faster. And this was very intense, and it's really cool that we only see them. We don't really see the band at all. So it must. What I can imagine is that they must have shot this when Alissa was maybe in the Netherlands with Arch Enemy, and maybe they didn't have a lot of lead up, or they just didn't have too much time with her. So they that's often how it works. Like just like how Electric Callboy and Baby Metal did their videos. Like they came through Germany and they shot that video and they were back out again. So usually these collabs, you don't have a whole lot of time, and it's just impressive that they were able to make it work like this. And it's a really, really wonderful video and just very effective and just very cool. And I love the slow-mo bits in the final ending too. It's like, again, a little bit counterintuitive because that's not like the thing that you would be doing in like one of the most like in the crescendoing part of the song where we're heading towards the finale. It's an interesting combination between the slow-mo and the really swift cuts and the glitching, and then we have a little bit more of this thunder in the background. And of course, we also hear more of Alyssa's rough vocals, which is such a great addition to Charlotte's clean singing. And so they really made a really fun and interesting harmony, and it's really pleasant on the ears. But I find that with Charlotte's music in general, like the harmonies that she sings are very interesting. Really beautiful voice.
Like steam with her, like ashes and like sparks, spirit and thoughts,
So I just read the lyrics, and just because I wanted to check and see if I was getting it a little bit right. So as I understand it, this song was inspired by a poem by Percy Shelley, and it's also called "Ode to the West Wind." And there's definitely some similarities to the lyrics and the poem. And the poem is really beautiful, and I think that definitely I caught. I mean, definitely in the visuals, right? It's very much about decay and sort of pollution and end of the world kind of thing. And even though this poem is from like the 1820s, it feels really timely. So definitely check out the poem if you've never read it. It's very, very beautiful. And also Charlotte's spin on the poem with the lyrics is just really nice. So definitely read them if you haven't yet. It's I don't know, music and like the video aspect of it, as well as the writing aspect of it. It's just such a nice blend of things, I always think. It's like there's so many different aspects that go into making the whole art. And for me, definitely the videos always add an extra layer, especially when the musician themselves has so much to say in how it's made and how they want the audience to feel. So it's really nice. What a great job. I also loved the video for Chasing Sunset so much, and Dopamine was great. The Exorcism was also really wonderful. I don't know if they're going to be doing any more videos for this album drop. I've been loving these songs, and I'm sure there's many more beautiful ones on there too. So let me know what you think of all the new songs released by Charlotte Wessels. If you've been in any way like enjoying her journey, on Patreon and other places. I know I have. So it's she's been such an interesting act to follow, and also she's a fellow Dutchie, so that warms my heart a little bit too. I'm a little biased. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you want to see more, go ahead and do so now. You can also join us on Discord, where we have a small but growing community. It's been really fun getting to know some of you better. You can also support me on Patreon, where you get exclusive access to some videos as well as early access, and you can see some of my work that I can't share with the public yet. Anyway, All my love to you today, and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace.